Hello, everyone. Welcome to this crowdcast. I'm Vova, head of community at SmartKit. Today with me is Tess Whitty. Hi, Tess.
Hi, Vova. Nice to be here.
Yeah, nice to have you here. In case someone doesn't know, though, I'm not sure it's possible. Tess is a guru in marketing for translators, and today she will be giving a webinar on inbound marketing. She will explain what it means in case you don't know. But before we proceed, let me tell a few words how things work here. So you have the questions and answers and topics on the left. Upvote the ones you like, and you can ask your own questions. There's also a polls tab where you can vote and let us know something about you. Also, there is an experimental tab that I call discussion and useful links. It contains some links that Tess will be talking about during the webinar, and you can also, if you're logged into our forum, you can post your opinions there because the chat sometimes can be too hard to follow. But anyway, feel free to write in the chat as well. So the recording of this webinar will be available at the same link afterwards. I think that's all I wanted to say. So then I'm giving the mic to Tess. Tell us what we will be talking about today, Tess.
Yes, Vova, thank you for having me. And it's so nice to see so many people here. Welcome, everyone. We are going to be talking about inbound marketing, or how to make your ideal clients find you instead of you going out and chasing them. So I will start with the presentation, but Vova, can you tell me how I see the polls if I start with the presentation? Because the presentation takes over the whole screen.
Well, I can tell to you. Generally, you can navigate to this tab with polls. I can tell you the current results, which say that to the question, how do you mostly find new clients? Almost 80% answered that they contact them themselves. So I guess this webinar will be quite useful to them. And to the second question, where can our users be found online? Around half answered that they exist on several or all of the above options that you provided. Also, a large portion are available on translation portals. Only two people have a website, by the way. So
so once I get to these polls, can you briefly just repeat that then?
Yeah, sure. Just let me know when you need this.
Okay.
So if we are going to start with the presentation, I can focus on it if you wish, and we will be going along.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure. Okay. So welcome, everyone. And once again, I'm so glad you're here. And I apologize for the change of time due to reasons I cannot really affect. Anyway, let's dive in. So apart from us providing high quality translations and contacting prospective clients directly, the ones that we want to work with, we can make sure that our systems are set up right so that our potential clients can find us easily. So in this session, you will learn what platforms and strategies to use to get the right potential clients to find you online, including your website, search engine optimization, and some social media. You will learn how to convert strangers into leads and ultimately into customers and referrals, I hope. You will also get some tips on some tools to make inbound marketing faster and easier. But first, a little bit about me. I have been a freelance translator now for, I started in 2002 or 3, so for 14 years. And but my background is in marketing. I have an education in marketing, and I worked as a marketing manager. And so when I moved to the United States, I decided to pursue my passion for languages. I also studied languages during my university studies. And after my first project, I was hooked. But my marketing skills have helped me a lot in building my business, and I am truly enjoying the business I have, and I truly enjoying also helping other translators these days market their services. So as you see in the picture here, You might know me from the podcast Marketing Tips for Translators, where I interview other translators or industry experts on marketing and business tips. I also have a marketing course called the Complete Marketing Course, where I guide you step by step through a process of discovering your niche and how to market to your ideal clients. And some of you might also know about my marketing cookbook with the sort of step-by-step recipes that you can work on. If you want to focus on LinkedIn, there's a recipe for that. Or if you want to work on networking, there's a recipe for that. And finally, I just released another book that's available on Amazon, both in Kindle format and in print format, called The Ultimate Guide Collection of business tips from the podcast, where I have taken the best tips from the 100 first episodes of the podcast. So other people's tips are also included there. So that was a little bit about me. Let's go over to you. So the first poll was, how do you find new clients? Do you contact them yourself, or do they mostly find you? And I think, Vova, that you said that most of them said that they contact them directly.
3/4. Yeah, 75%. Yeah.
And that is good. It's good to be active and contact them yourself. I don't live where my direct clients live, ideal clients live. So for me, inbound marketing is very important. And I have a lot of clients finding me online and contacting me. So that is what I wanted to share with you today. Excuse me. So I want to talk about what inbound marketing is and how it works. And I also want to show you how to have an optimized platform and what a platform is for inbound marketing, and how to reach out and attract clients using this or having them find you. So let's get started. What is inbound marketing and how does it work? So inbound marketing is about using marketing to attract potential customers to you rather than having your marketing efforts fight for their attention. And inbound marketing is about creating and sharing content with the world by creating content specifically designed to appeal to your ideal customers. So it attracts qualified prospects to your business and keeps them coming back for more. Now, why is inbound marketing important? It is important because the buying process has changed. It's a philosophy based on the truth that the consumers buy differently today than they did even 10 years ago or 15 years ago or longer. There are three major reasons why consumers are skeptical about brands and why interruptive advertising isn't nearly as effective as it once was. So previously, 10 years ago, the buyers, or we were relatively uninformed. We sort of made our purchase decisions based on what we saw in the newspaper or magazines or on advertisement. But these days we are well informed. We are bombarded with information from everywhere, and we can actually go out and find information ourselves about a product or a service. And previously the buyer journey was sort of linear. You saw something or discovered some service or product, and then you considered it and you made a decision. But these days, it's sort of more like a spider web. It's more fluid. You Google things to find more information, and then you see something, and then you consider it, or you purchase it, or you go back and find more information. So it's a little bit more random. And previously, marketing was based on interrupting, cold calls. People called you to sell you magazines, or they knocked on your door to sell you something, and interrupted advertising on television and so forth. But these days, we don't want that much anymore, and that doesn't work so much anymore because there's so much information. So we have to sort of change our marketing strategy by thought leadership and value through content creation, providing useful information. So the media landscape has become insanely cluttered with print media, streaming, radio, TV, online, social. I don't know if you feel overwhelmed sometimes, but I do. And the technology has empowered the consumer these days. We have access to tools and information that makes us so that we can avoid interrupted brand messages and instead seek out information when we are ready. For example, I don't watch any ads on TV anymore. I don't watch TV. I only do streaming and watch what I want to watch. And these days, there's also less trust. We are accustomed to false claims and deceit. So these days, we need permission marketing instead of interruptive marketing. It's more effective than interrupting marketing. And by aligning the content that we publish online or send to our customer, if we focus on the customer interest, we can earn permission to market to them and convert them into leads and close them into customers. And delight to the point that they become promoters of your brand and share your information. So how do we do that? This is marketing jargon. So let's dig a little bit deeper and for this. So this is how an inbound marketing process looks like. All the steps and all the are not valid just for you, but I wanted to show you to explain how it works. So first we need to attract.
Sorry to interrupt you. Are you showing some slides now? Because at least for me, I see the same slide that was in the beginning.
Oh, you are? Huh.
Maybe
okay.
Just me. Guys, are you seeing? Yeah, I think so. Let's try to close your screen share and open it once again. I'll close your video now. And we will now try to share it once again. Sorry for the technical issues, everyone. It does happen on Crowdcast sometimes.
So, screen share. Let's see if I can do application window. What do you see now?
Yeah, I see the process now. So much better.
Yes. Good. All right, I will keep it like this.
Thanks.
Okay, so the inbound marketing process. So the first phase is to attract, where people might not know about you or your brand, and you have to build awareness and let them know who you are and reach new audiences. And you do this by search engine optimization or blogging or being active on social media and keyword tracking. Once you have people as visitors to your website or online, the goal is to get them to convert or share their contact information with you for future information. And this is done by using forms or call to actions. Click here for more information, or click here for a free quote, so that you get their information. And then now you have an email or a contact or a lead. What do you do with that? So now it's the close phase. During this phase, you take leads who may not be ready to make any purchase from you yet, and guide them through the buying process with valuable and timely content. And you do this by sending information about what you can help them with and how. And you plug them into a customer relationship management system so you can follow up with them. And once you have them sort of in your system, the lead decides that, okay, this is actually the person I'm looking for. They can help me with my translation needs. They become a customer. And now, don't forget about the last but very important step to keep your relationship alive and well and encourage repeat business through referrals and positive reviews. And this is how you earn loyal customers. This is done by personalization, being personal with your customer, providing more value than they ask for, and doing surveys, asking for feedback, and using social monitoring and keeping them on top, keeping yourself on top of their minds, and also asking for referrals. If you like my service, do you know anybody else who might be interested in this, or who might need my services or help with this and this? So that's sort of the general process. And what it means is that you should market with a magnet, attract them to you instead of a sledgehammer. Here I am, you need me, and buy my services. And the objective with inbound marketing is to get the prospects to like, know, and trust you. By sharing the right content in the right place and at the right time, your marketing becomes relevant and helpful to your customers and not interruptive. And the right place, content can't be found if it's not in the right place. And the right place, especially online, is where your ideal customer is spending time. So you need to find out where they are active. That was a little bit about inbound marketing, what it is, and the process. And the next step I wanted to talk about is how we as translators or linguists can optimize our platform for inbound marketing to make it attract customers. The first step is to make sure that our platforms are optimized. And the platforms I'm talking about is websites, your profiles in directories and portals online, association databases, online databases. And we do this by first defining what we want our identity to be, what our goals are, and what our inbound marketing strategy will be. So here is the process broken down into more steps on optimizing the platform. First, we need to, of course, know who our target market is and how we can help. How can we help our ideal customers? We need to know this. If you don't know it, the customer will never understand it either. And once we know that, we can select which platforms to use depending on where our target clients go. This is most likely having a website, which should be your hub for all marketing. This is something you own yourself and it looks professional, but it can also be a profile in a directory or other platforms, plus your profile on social media such as LinkedIn. On these platforms, we need to make sure that we have a clear and unified image. Then we can create a content strategy, what content we can share. Most of all, I mean, this doesn't have to be so difficult, like you don't have to be blogging, but what you can think about is that whatever you put out on these show what value you can provide. And if you want to take an extra step, you can also scan online and see if there's articles that might be useful for your clients to share. And the final step is very important. It's to follow up with the visitors, contacts, etc., and see how well the inbound marketing is working. So, like I said, we need to know who our target market is, and it's very helpful to create buyer personas. Buyer personas are fictional profiles of your ideal customer, and a buyer journey is the course they usually take to become your customer. Buyer personas help us understand the behaviors, interests, and pain points of our audience on a deeper level so that we can align our content and strategies with them. So let's talk about an example. For me, one of my target markets is small to medium software companies, mostly in Silicon Valley, who want to launch their new software on the Swedish market. And this is attractive for them because Swedes are early adopters of the new technologies and very advanced in development of software themselves. For example, did you know that Skype and Spotify and Minecraft were invented in Sweden? Okay, so these people are usually between 20 to 40 years old. They're quite young. The more of them are male than female, and their way of speaking and communicating is less formal and than for example, a lawyer, and their methods are also less formal. That was just one example. So like I mentioned, the platforms that we can use are our websites. I highly recommend everyone having a website. But if you don't have one, I also have a quick start guide on how to create and optimize one for a translation business. The other platforms can be social media, but don't feel overwhelmed that you need to be on all social media. Just pick one or two where you know that your target clients hang out. And it can also be directories and portals. So members, if you're a member of a local Translators Association, which I highly recommend, that's your profile there that people can search. And portals can be, for example, pros.com. And others. So the second poll I had, so if you haven't answered already, you still have 30 seconds to do that. Where can you be found online? Do you have a website? Are you active on one or two social media platforms? Are you registered in online translation portals and directories, or are you active on all of the above? So this is the one, Vova, where I don't remember sort of the...
So 14% answered that they have a website.
Okay.
5% said that they have one or more social media platforms. 30% said that they are on online translation portals and directories. And almost half are on several or all of the above, and 5% are on none of the above. Okay.
Great. Thank you for answering. I'm glad to hear that many of you are on all of the above. And if you're not, there's always time or a chance to do that.
It's never too late.
Yeah, it's never too late. So let's talk about the first one. A website. Now, a website doesn't have to be fancy or complicated. Even just one page can be enough, just so that you have a presence online when people Google you and it looks professional. Here is what you should focus on, though, with a website. Focus on providing value. What value you can give to the customer, not just, this is what I do. I'm an English to Swedish translator and I'm certified. Instead, I help US companies enter the Swedish market or communicate with the Swedish customers. But so how can you help them? And always remember to include a call to action. For example, contact me for a free quote or something like that. And once you say, I see many websites where they say, I am a professional, high quality translator. And it's okay to say that, but you have to provide proof of that. So this can be done by testimonials, by showing your experience, samples of what kind of projects you have done, how many projects. If you have any customers, you can ask if you can feature them. what kind of education you have, anything that can prove that you are professional. Memberships in professional associations also show professionalism, for example. But you have to provide proof for what you say. And then on the website, even if you have just one page, install some SEO tools or search engine optimization tools and use keywords, meta tags, and descriptions to make sure that the site can be found easily in Google. And these don't have to be, it's good to have them in the titles and so forth, but you don't have to put a lot of keywords in the text, because this can be done behind with a tool such as SEO by Yoast or something similar. Make sure that the website looks professional. This is easily done these days with all the templates that they provide. And use Google Analytics to see how many visitors you get, from where they come and through which platform, to see what works for you and what pages are the most popular, etc. And also use some images. Images are so important these days for Google, and they also are attractive for the visitors. So use some relevant images to enhance your message. Just make sure that they are either your own images or royalty-free or purchased, because otherwise you might get punished for using royalty images. The next platform is social.
Sorry if I chime in. There are some
Yeah.
cool websites with free images like pexels.com. I like it the most of all free stocks compared to Pixabay, for instance. I think it provides more higher quality images. Sorry, just saying.
Yeah, well, feel free to share the link to,
I will.
to your recommendation too. All right, social media. For me, most of my customers are on LinkedIn, and that's the platform I focus on for my translation client. So for you, it depends on where you live. It might be Xing, or it might be another platform that is most popular among your clients. Just make sure you have a complete profile, that you try to fill it out as good as possible, that you use a professional image, write a summary of the value you can provide, put in your experience, and try to get testimonials, because these provide proof of the quality services. And so once you're on a platform where your clients are, try to share content or articles that are relevant to your target clients, and become member of relevant groups, because this is where you can participate in discussions where your clients hang out and make them notice you. And it's also, if you're a member of a group, for example, on LinkedIn, you can contact other members in that group directly instead of having to get a premium account, for example. And Twitter, I use Twitter some. You can use Twitter to demonstrate your knowledge of industry trends and news by sharing that content, but you can also connect with customers there. On a platform then, for LinkedIn or Twitter or whichever you choose, add past and present clients to your network, and see who they are connected to, and use some tools to monitor and manage social media. For example, I use Hootsuite to schedule my content and to easily see, I have like lists with potential clients and current clients and so forth. All right, that was social media. Directories and portals are important for translators. What to think of there is to make sure that you're easy to find, that you include your services and your value even here, that your profiles are complete, that you use a professional image. For example, on LinkedIn or other platforms, I don't really tend to connect with people who haven't put up a professional image. If they have just the standard avatar, for example. So these organizations, for example, for me, it's the Swedish Association of Professional Translation. I'm in their portal. I'm a member of ATA. I'm a member of PROS. These are just some examples, but it depends on where you live, of course. I also wanted to talk a little bit about brand strategy, or having a consistent brand. So this means that making sure that you have sort of the same message on all the platforms. For example, I was coaching someone yesterday whose pros.com profile gave a totally different message than LinkedIn profile of what the person focuses on, and so forth. So make sure that on all the platform you have a consistent message and a consistent image, using the same picture on all the printed materials, having the same message, for example. And when I talk about professionalism and communication, for example, Twitter is a great place to see if your message aligns with your brand. Are you responding to tweets in a different way than your brand is on your website, for example? So don't get caught with a double personality on social media and in person. Always act professionally, even online. The easiest way to avoid this mistake is just to simply be yourself, both on your website and on social media. Whether you're edgy, quirky, practical, or inspirational, embrace this and be true to your brand. That's the easiest way. So, for example, don't try to seem too overly formal on your website if you are not a formal person in real life. All right, I'm skipping ahead here a little bit. So the last step is to reach out and attract. After we've secured and optimized our platforms, we can reach out to potential clients where they hang out and attract them back to our platform. So how do we do that? We do it by sharing good content. So the basics of a content strategy is to communicate your value, provide useful information, share useful information, and decide what content to publish on what platform, and include keywords. So with this, I don't mean that you need to become a blogger or that you have to spend a lot of time searching for good articles to share. It's good to do that, but you don't have to overly focus on that. Just make sure that whatever you publish on your platforms is providing value to your target clients, and that you are always proving that how you can help and communicating how you can help, so to speak. I hope that makes sense. If not, please ask some questions and I will answer that really shortly. The last and very, very important step is to follow up and measure. And when it comes to inbound marketing, the following up is a little bit different. You should check your conversion rates, your website traffic, and your engagement to see how well your inbound marketing is working. So I'm going to explain this a little bit. So the most important questions you need to ask yourself is how engaged people or your customers, fans, and prospects with your profiles. How many people are taking the actions that you want them to take? How many are clicking on the contact me for a free quote link, for example? And is your organic traffic improving? So what is the conversion rate? It's one of the most important things to measure for an inbound marketing. That's because conversion measures the number of customers or prospects who have taken the desired action on your website. So let's look at this. For example, website traffic. A great way to analyze this is to look at the analytics of your website, which your website is, like I said, your hub for all inbound marketing, right? So to view your site traffic over a specific period of time, you should create a Google Analytics account, and I have links to this I have handouts that you will get with all the links and useful resources. Then once you created an account and set it all up and put the code on your website, you log into the Google Analytics account. You click on behavior. So I'm going to on the left-hand bar and select site content. So let's go to Google Analytics. This is the Google Analytics for my translation website, SwedishTranslationServices.com. It's in Swedish, everything on my computer in Swedish, but this is behavior here in this red circle. And then you can enter a date range. This was over a week, for example. Then I can see how many people came to my homepage, 871. The total was 2,552 visits. 871 visited the homepage. Then some went to my contact page, and then I had a blog post called "Don't Let Cultural Ignorance Ruin a Perfectly Good Translation" that visited there, and 150 people visited my translation website. And this is unique page views and how long they stayed on each page. And this is the bounce rate and so forth. But to look here, I can see sort of what pages they visited, how long they stayed, and which pages are most important to me. And I can compare this with previous things and see if it's growing or not. So that was Google Analytics. Now, how do we measure our engagement? So engagement is the number of clicks, likes, shares, or comments divided by the number of people who saw the post. So this is more, engagement is more on social media. So engagement is more important than reach. This is because your reach only determines the size of your audience. And while it's important that your audience is growing, it's even more important that your fans are actively engaging with your content. So engagement figures can also significantly expand your reach by ensuring your content is getting shared and talked about among others or the right audiences. So let's look at engagement for me. And I actually took the engagement from my website, not from my social media. I just wanted to see how much it was shared. So I have a few blog posts that I've created sort of aiming at my target clients. And I could look at these in BuzzSumo is a good tool to measure engagement. And I have this link in the handout too. So on BuzzSumo, I had an article called "Translation Services, How It Helps Improve Today's Global Economy." And this was shared the most on Facebook, 49 times, 27 times on LinkedIn, 10 times on Twitter, 2 times on Pinterest. I'm not even active on Pinterest. And then I could also see other articles. So "How Will Technology Change Translation" was shared on LinkedIn 20 times, pretty good. And the other 2 were not that popular, I could see. So BuzzSumo, you can do this with your social media profiles, but also with your website to see how much engagement you get. But the ultimate measurements is, of course, how many new customers you have gained during a specific period of time. And you can see this easily if you keep track of your prospects, your visitors, and have a customer relationship management tool where you put your prospects and follow up and see how many times you contacted them and how many have turned into clients. So to put all of this together, I'm going quite fast, and I hope you ask questions if there's something that's unclear. But inbound marketing means that you can create this strategy and have clients come to you instead of only working on going out directly and contacting them, by optimizing your platforms online, by sharing strategic content, and by following up and measuring and seeing how it all works. Now, I mentioned earlier that I have a quick start guide, an ebook that if you want to work on your website, 8 steps or 10 steps on how to create and optimize a website. But I also have a complete marketing course. Next course starts on September 1st, and it's easy to manage along the rest of your busy life. It's all online and self-paced, but you have a community group, and I encourage you to take 1 hour a week or something to work on it. And it's approved by American Translators Association for 5 continuing education points. I just wanted to mention that. You can go to this link and check it out for more information. But now we have about 15 minutes for questions. So I want to say thank you. And this is where you find more information about me. And I have 2 handouts for this presentation. It's called the Inbound Marketing Resource List and the Inbound Marketing Checklist that you will get. So Vova, should I stop sharing my screen now so I can look at the questions?
Yeah, however you wish, I can hide it, you can stop sharing. And everyone, if you want the handouts, they will be available on our forum, and they are also available in the discussion and useful links tab to the left. You just might need to refresh the page to see them. So anyway, we can get to questions and answers. And thanks, Tess, that was very interesting. I learned a lot of new things, hopefully everyone as well. So let's go from the most popular downwards. Are there any general marketing strategies that work especially good for translators, and are there any that we should avoid?
No, there's not any one that I can specifically recommend, because it depends on who your target market or ideal clients is. For example, if you are a legal translator and focus on reaching lawyers or lawyers' assistants, sending out mail by snail mail and paper documents might be more valuable. And if you have a lot of target clients where you live, going out and networking live at networking events, social, or like what do I call it, Chamber of Commerce event, or wherever they hang out, is the best strategy for that. For me, for example, inbound marketing and online presence is very important because I don't live where my target clients are. And I know in some cultures, calling someone on the phone is a good thing to do. That doesn't work in either the Swedish culture or the American culture. For example, I don't pick up the phone if I don't know the person calling these days, if they don't leave a message. Yeah, so you have to see what your target clients and target market prefer or work, and go from there. So I can't really say anything that you should avoid other than don't Don't go out with a false message. Don't copy other people's information. And I think that one thing that doesn't work is if you contact agencies. It doesn't work to buy a list and just send out mass emails starting with "dear sir" or "madam." I get a lot of them. I always delete them without reading them. It's better to look at each agency, go to their website, see if they're a good fit for you, and then either applying online, which many of them want you to do these days, or try to find the vendor manager to contact.
And speaking specifically about inbound marketing, what do you think about the content you publish? Because a lot of times I see that translators publish content that's actually more useful for fellow translators rather than clients. Mm-hmm. I think because maybe that's easier to do, but I see that a lot. Would you agree, or do you have another impression?
Well, then, I mean, colleagues can refer you too. If you know colleagues, then can refer customers to you. So it's not all bad, but you're wasting a lot of time of not reaching your target clients. So reaching your target clients is, you saw the kind of articles I try to publish on my translation website. That is content that's sort of valuable for my target clients, but it doesn't have to, you don't have to publish a blog or have that, but instead make sure that your website or everything that you have on your profile is proving how you can help your ideal clients. Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally. And speaking of your own experience, does your, let's say, so coaching side of your work help in your professional translation side, or is it a totally different aspect of that is not related to the primary one?
I think they're quite separate, actually. Other than people know that I'm a Swedish translator and they might remember me and refer me, but that's about it.
But in the other way, I mean, do your clients who look for Swedish translation services, do you think they find you via the marketing tips of translators as well? Or do you think your being such a coach makes sense for them, or is a strong factor for them to choose you?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. It was really interesting to know, because, you know, it's something I keep asking myself, is it really somehow synergetic to have these two service propositions, let's say so?
They might know that, they might see that I'm very involved in the industry, but that's about it.
Like Ronnie says in chat, I know Tess Whitty because I see her name everywhere I go.
Yes.
But it takes a lot of effort to become a Tess Whitty. I mean, to have your name all over the internet.
And for example, I have two different marketing strategies, one for my sort of marketing business and one for my translation business. They're quite separate.
Okay, I think that also goes in line with our other question. I'll skip over to it regarding the ideal client persona. Let me see who asks. Amaya asks, the question is, what do you do if you have different language combinations or more than one specialization? Your potential clients could be very different. What you do in that case?
Yes, you have to develop several personas.
Do you have to do this on different websites or with different social profiles?
No, well, your website should focus on your most important and ideal clients, I think, but it doesn't mean that, yeah, you can have several, I guess. If they're very, very different, it's better to have several, I would say. But for example, for me, the localization is only one part of my, I also have other ideal clients. For example, small businesses in Sweden who want to have their content translated and marketing content translated. Or big pharmaceutical companies that need their product resume translated, for example. So they're different. And you're welcome to go check out my website. I only have one website. I just have 3 different categories depending on my specialization.
Okay.
But it's good if you do contact them directly. It's good to have sort of different personas for each, so you know when you're contacting them sort of who they are or who most of them are, so it's easier to talk to them or saying how you can help them.
Okay, that totally makes sense. So the next one was, thanks to internet platforms, anyone who speaks 2 or more languages can be called a translator. Well, can pretend to be a translator. How can a professional translator stand out and attract clients who are looking for high quality translations and are willing to pay higher rates?
Yes, that's unfortunately true. Many people can call themselves translators, and many companies don't understand that they need professional translators either. They just say, oh, I have this, my secretary is bilingual, I can use her. The only way we can do that or prove that they need us is by, first of all, we always have to provide proof of our professionalism by listing how many years we worked or what our education is, if we have any certifications, by listing what kind of projects we've done and how much we've done in these things. And if, for example, agencies, the professional agencies that really do look for high quality translators, they usually have a kind of complicated process for you to start working with them. They ask for diplomas, they ask for proof, they ask for certification, they look at your resume. Does it look professional? And by providing unique content, then like your diplomas or your certification, and putting a date on your resume and so forth, these things prove that you are a professional. And there are clients out there that do understand this and want to pay higher rates if you really can prove that you can provide value to them. I have a great example that I always mention. If you know Marta Stelmarsak, if you go to her website, wantwords.co.uk, she did a survey among 1,000 companies that need Polish translations, and had her translation anonymously and two other translations, and asked them to pick. And so she has as a proof that 83% of the translation buyers would use her translation to sell their message. I don't remember exactly what it is, but that's a great proof, and it proves that you are professional and how you really can help. I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, it does. It reminds me of one example also, maybe that will be useful, that clients not always speak the same language as us, and sometimes they want some numbers. In the end, they want always numbers. And for instance, I was doing a translation of a newsletter, and I asked the client to measure the A/B, to do an A/B test, and to measure the click-through rate for the previous translation and for my translation, which proved to be twice as much, which was hard numbers you could show to clients, which is a language they can understand.
Great. I hope you have that on your website.
I'm totally neglected my website due to my SmartCat employment, but if I get kicked out of SmartCat, I will definitely mention that.
Yes, yes, and you should mention it in every time you contact a client.
We have some 4 minutes more. I had a question that I especially liked. Marina asks, I have a website, but it's more for the novels I translate for free and for fun. Can I use it for attracting new clients? Do you think it's a workable strategy?
So if it's a website only for novels, then the only thing you will attract with that website is people who want their novels translated. if you understand what I mean. If you are looking for other kinds of jobs or clients, then you need a separate website for that.
Okay, makes sense, I guess.
That said, you can have it hosted on the same platform. You just have 2 different sites and 2 different domain names.
Okay, so there were a couple of more questions about marketing tools you can recommend and which are the most powerful SEO tools. Can you recommend any?
I think I'm listing them in the resource guide, but that said, if you're in a WordPress platform, I think SEO by Yoast is the most popular and easy to use. And if you're using any other website, for example, Wix or Webs or something, they have their own built-in tools that also work very well.
Okay, yeah, I also love Yoast. I think it has also this gamification feature, because when you have a post that is not SEO optimized, it shows like red traffic light and you just want to make it green. So
yep.
we just have one question. It's already answered. Perhaps are there any marketing tools that you can recommend? And I will just say that it is in the resource list that will be in the handout. So make sure to check it out. And we have a clean question.
And check out my website, because I have other tools there too, or tips. So if you're looking for something specific, you can use the search bar there and see.
Okay, thanks a lot. That was very intensive. I think a lot of information in such a small amount of time. And thank you so much, Tess, for hosting this on SmartCat Academy. And I hope we maybe will have a chance to have more webinars with you if you'd like to. And thanks to everyone for coming and watching this. Also, good luck to your son's graduation. And Tess, maybe you want to say a few words to the audience as well.
Yes, thank you so much to all of you who attended. It was really nice to have you all here, and I hope you found some valuable information. You know, you can always watch the recording because it went pretty fast. And if you have any specific questions, don't hesitate to contact me. I wish you good luck with the inbound marketing. It's not that complicated. Just make sure that you're easy to be found, and that when they find you, that they understand what value you can provide. So
Great.
Thank you, everyone, and see you online somewhere.
Okay, thanks everyone, and take care. Ta-ta. Bye.
Bye-bye.